Aging gracefully. Unlocking mobility and joy after 65. Have you ever felt like your body is holding you back after 65? Like the things you used to do with ease are now a struggle? A distant memory? You're not alone. Many of us experience changes in mobility as we age. It's a natural part of life. But it can be frustrating, even heartbreaking, to feel like your world is shrinking. But what if limited walking didn't have to limit your life? What if, instead, it could be an invitation to discover new ways to move, connect, and thrive? Today, we're going to explore 7 powerful strategies to help you maintain your mobility, improve your balance, and live a fulfilling life, even if you're walking less than you used to. We'll be sharing inspiring stories of individuals from 65 to 85 years old who have faced similar challenges and found creative ways to overcome them. We'll also be offering practical tips, resources, and expert advice to empower you to take charge of your well-being and keep moving forward with confidence and joy. 1. Chair-based exercises. Reclaiming movement. Reclaiming joy. At 68 years old, Maria loved to dance. It was her passion, her way of expressing herself, her connection to the world. But osteoarthritis stole that joy, making even walking a painful and daunting task. She felt like a part of her was fading away, that her life was becoming smaller and smaller. Discouraged and worried about becoming completely immobile, she almost gave up. She thought her dancing days were over. But Maria's doctor suggested chair-based exercises. Skeptical at first, she thought it wouldn't be enough, that it couldn't possibly replace the joy of dancing. But she was wrong. Chair yoga became her lifeline. It wasn't exactly dancing, but it was movement, it was connection, and it was joy rediscovered. It improved her strength, flexibility, and balance without putting excessive strain on her joints. She even started to incorporate some of her old dance moves into the chair exercises, finding a new way to express herself. And perhaps even more importantly, she made new friends in the class, finding a supportive community of people who understood her challenges and celebrated her progress. The science behind chair-based exercises. Chair-based exercises are a form of physical activity that can be done while seated or using a chair for support. They are particularly beneficial for individuals with limited mobility, arthritis, or other conditions that make standing exercises difficult. Research has shown that chair-based exercises can improve cardiovascular health, muscle strength, flexibility, and balance. They also reduce the risk of falls, which is a major concern for older adults. A study published in the Journal of Aging and Physical Activity found that older adults who participated in chair-based exercises experienced significant improvements in their physical function and quality of life. The study also noted that these exercises can be easily modified to suit individual needs, making them accessible to people of all fitness levels. Practical tips for chair-based exercises. Start slow. Begin with simple movements, such as seated marches or arm raises, and gradually increase the intensity as you become more comfortable. Focus on form. Pay attention to your posture and alignment to avoid injury. Keep your back straight and your feet flat on the floor. Incorporate stretching. Add gentle stretches to improve flexibility and reduce stiffness. Make it social. Join a class or invite friends to exercise with you. Social interaction can boost motivation and make the experience more enjoyable. 2. The power of aquatic exercise. John's hip surgery was successful, but the recovery was long and arduous. At the age of 75, he was terrified of falling and re-injuring himself. He avoided exercise altogether, which only made him feel weaker, stiffer, and more vulnerable. He felt trapped in his own body. His physical therapist recommended aquatic exercise, but John was hesitant. He couldn't even swim properly anymore, and he was embarrassed about his limitations. But the therapist assured him that even gentle movements in the water could make a significant difference. And they did. The buoyancy of the water eased his pain, and the gentle resistance helped him rebuild his strength. He discovered a sense of freedom he hadn't felt in months, a lightness and ease of movement that he thought he'd lost forever. He wasn't just exercising his body, he was healing his mind and spirit as well. The water became his sanctuary, a place where he could move without fear, reconnect with his body, and rediscover the joy of movement. The benefits of aquatic exercise. Aquatic exercise, also known as water therapy or hydrotherapy, involves performing physical activities in a pool or other body of water. The buoyancy of the water reduces the impact on joints, making it an ideal form of exercise for individuals with arthritis, joint pain, or mobility issues. The resistance provided by the water also helps to build muscle strength and improve cardiovascular fitness. According to the American Council on Exercise, aquatic exercise can improve flexibility, balance, and coordination, while also reducing pain and stiffness. It is particularly beneficial for older adults, as it reduces the risk of falls and injuries. Practical tips for aquatic exercise. Start with a warm-up. Begin with gentle movements, such as walking in place or arm circles, to warm up your muscles. Use flotation devices. If you're not a strong swimmer, use flotation devices, such as pool noodles or water weights, to support your body. Focus on breathing. Practice deep breathing exercises to relax your mind and body. Gradually increase intensity. As you become more comfortable, increase the intensity of your movements by adding resistance or increasing your speed. 3. Walking aids. Your allies in mobility. Sarah, in her 80s, refused to use a walker. She thought it would make her look old and frail, a symbol of giving up. A public declaration of her limitations. She was determined to manage on her own, even though she knew her balance was shaky and she'd had a few close calls. But one day, while walking to the grocery store, she had a near fall. It shook her to her core. She realized that her pride was putting her at risk, that her fear of looking old was preventing her from truly living. She finally accepted the walker, not as a sign of defeat, but as a tool for independence, a key to unlocking her world again. It wasn't about looking old, it was about living her life safely and confidently. The walker gave her the stability she needed to explore her neighborhood again, to visit the local farmers market, to connect with friends and neighbors, to feel safe and confident walking to the park. It gave her back her freedom. The role of walking aids in mobility. Walking aids, such as canes, walkers, and rollators, are essential tools for individuals with mobility issues. They provide support, stability, and balance, reducing the risk of falls and injuries. Walking aids can also help to alleviate pain and fatigue, making it easier to perform daily activities. A study published in the Journal of the American Geriatric Society found that the use of walking aids was associated with a significant reduction in the risk of falls among older adults. The study also noted that walking aids can improve confidence and independence, allowing individuals to remain active and engaged in their communities. Practical tips for using walking aids. Choose the right aid. Consult with a healthcare professional to determine the most appropriate walking aid for your needs. Adjust for comfort. Ensure that your walking aid is properly adjusted to your height and body size to prevent strain and discomfort. Practice proper technique. Learn how to use your walking aid correctly to maximize its benefits and minimize the risk of injury. Maintain your aid. Regularly check your walking aid for wear and tear, and replace any worn or damaged parts as needed. 4. Strength training for stability. David's legs felt like they were constantly betraying him. At the age of 78, they were getting weaker and weaker, making even simple tasks like getting up from a chair, climbing stairs, or carrying groceries a real challenge. He felt like he was losing control over his own body, that his world was shrinking as his mobility decreased. He tried a few exercises he found online, but they were too difficult, and he felt discouraged and even a bit scared of injuring himself. He thought he was destined to a life of increasing immobility. Then his doctor recommended he work with a qualified personal trainer who specialized in working with older adults. The trainer understood his concerns and designed a program specifically for him, starting with very gentle resistance training using light weights and resistance bands, and gradually increasing the intensity as David got stronger and more confident. The trainer also emphasized proper form and technique to prevent injuries. It wasn't easy. There were days when he felt like giving up, when his muscles ached and his progress seemed slow. But David persevered. He discovered that building strength wasn't just about physical ability, it was about mental resilience too. He learned to celebrate small victories, to appreciate the gradual improvements in his strength and balance. He regained not only his muscle strength but also his confidence, his sense of control over his own body. He could once again play with his grandchildren, lift heavier objects without struggling, and navigate stairs with ease. He felt stronger, more stable, and more independent than he had in years. He even joined a local hiking group, something he never thought he'd be able to do again. The importance of strength training for older adults. Strength training, also known as resistance training, involves using weights, resistance bands, or body weight to build muscle strength and endurance. It is particularly important for older adults, as it helps to counteract the natural loss of muscle mass and strength that occurs with aging, a condition known as sarcopenia. According to the National Institute on Aging, strength training can improve balance, reduce the risk of falls, and enhance overall physical function. It can also help to manage chronic conditions, such as arthritis, diabetes, and osteoporosis. Practical tips for strength training. Start with light weights. Begin with light weights or resistance bands and gradually increase the intensity as you become stronger. Focus on major muscle groups. Include exercises that target the major muscle groups, such as the legs, arms, back, and core. Use proper form. Pay attention to your posture and technique to avoid injury. If you're unsure, consider working with a personal trainer. Rest and recover. Allow your muscles time to recover between workouts to prevent overtraining and injury. 5. The importance of regular stretching. Eleanor's joints were constantly stiff and achy when she turned 80. She suffered from chronic pain that limited her mobility and made even simple tasks like getting dressed or bending down to tie her shoes a struggle. She avoided moving too much, afraid that it would make the pain worse. She thought stretching was only for young people and that at her age, it was too late to make a difference. But her doctor explained that stretching was crucial for maintaining flexibility and reducing pain, especially as we age. He recommended a few gentle stretches that she could do at home and referred her to a physical therapist who could guide her and teach her proper technique. At first, Eleanor was hesitant. She was afraid of hurting herself. But she started slowly and carefully, and she was amazed at how much better she felt. The stiffness began to ease. The pain became more manageable, and she could move with greater comfort and ease. She could once again bend down to tend her garden, a passion she thought she'd have to give up. She could even enjoy a pain-free walk with her dog, something she hadn't been able to do in years. She realized that stretching wasn't just about physical flexibility, it was about emotional release too, about letting go of the tension and frustration that had been building up in her body for years. The benefits of stretching for older adults. Stretching is a form of physical activity that involves elongating the muscles to improve flexibility and range of motion. It is particularly important for older adults, as it helps to maintain joint health, reduce stiffness, and prevent injuries. According to the American College of Sports Medicine, regular stretching can improve posture, reduce muscle tension, and enhance overall physical performance. It can also help to alleviate pain and discomfort associated with chronic conditions, such as arthritis and back pain. Practical tips for stretching. Warm up first. Always warm up your muscles before stretching to prevent injury. This can be done with light aerobic activity, such as walking or marching in place. Hold each stretch. Hold each stretch for 15 to 30 seconds. And repeat 2 to 4 times. Avoid bouncing or jerking movements, as this can cause injury. Focus on major muscle groups. Include stretches for the major muscle groups, such as the hamstrings, quadriceps, calves, and shoulders. Breathe deeply. Practice deep breathing while stretching to relax your mind and body. 6. Balance training. Regaining confidence. Robert's recent fall shook his confidence. After 72, he was constantly worried about falling again, which made him even more hesitant to move. He felt like he was trapped in a cycle of fear and inactivity. Afraid to leave his house alone. His daughter suggested Tai Chi. But Robert was skeptical. He thought it was too slow and gentle to be effective. And he was embarrassed about his lack of coordination. But he decided to give it a try. And he discovered that Tai Chi wasn't just about slow movements, it was about building strength, balance, and coordination. It helped him feel more grounded and stable, both physically and emotionally. He started to feel more confident in his movements, less afraid of falling. He even started leading a Tai Chi class at his local senior center, sharing his newfound passion and helping others improve their balance and well-being. He rediscovered the joy of walking in the park without the constant fear of falling. And he found a supportive community of people who understood his challenges and celebrated his progress. He no longer felt isolated and afraid, he felt connected and empowered. The role of balance training in fall prevention. Balance training involves exercises that improve stability and coordination, reducing the risk of falls and injuries. It is particularly important for older adults, as falls are a leading cause of injury and disability in this population. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, balance training can improve muscle strength, coordination, and reaction time, all of which are essential for preventing falls. Activities such as Tai Chi, yoga, and Pilates are particularly effective for improving balance and stability. Practical tips for balance training. Start with simple exercises. Begin with simple balance exercises, such as standing on one leg or walking heel to toe, and gradually increase the difficulty as you become more confident. Use support. Use a chair or wall for support if needed, especially when starting out. Focus on core strength. Incorporate exercises that strengthen the core muscles, as a strong core is essential for good balance. Practice regularly. Aim to practice balance exercises at least 2 to 3 times per week to see improvements. 7. Listen to your body and pace yourself. Margaret was determined to stay active in her early 70s. She walked every day, but she often pushed herself too hard, ignoring the aches and pains that were her body's way of telling her to slow down. She'd end up feeling exhausted and frustrated, sometimes even injuring herself, which would set her back for days. She realized that staying active wasn't about pushing her limits, it was about finding a sustainable rhythm, a way to move that honored her body's needs. She learned to listen to her body, to recognize the signals of fatigue and pain, and to adjust her activity level accordingly. She started taking shorter, more frequent walks, incorporating rest breaks when needed. She discovered that she enjoyed these shorter walks even more because she could truly savor the experience, appreciate the beauty around her, and connect with friends without the pressure of pushing herself too hard. She learned to be kind to herself, to recognize that rest and recovery were just as important as exercise. She discovered the joy of mindful movement, of being present in her body and appreciating what it could do, rather than focusing on what it couldn't. The importance of mindful movement. Mindful movement involves paying attention to your body's signals and adjusting your activity level accordingly. It is particularly important for older adults, as it helps to prevent overexertion and injury, while also promoting overall well-being. According to the Mayo Clinic, mindful movement can reduce stress, improve mental clarity, and enhance physical performance. It can also help to prevent burnout and promote long-term adherence to an active lifestyle. Practical tips for mindful movement. Set realistic goals. Set achievable goals that align with your current fitness level and health status. Listen to your body. Pay attention to your body's signals, such as pain, fatigue, and discomfort, and adjust your activity level accordingly. Incorporate rest days. Schedule regular rest days to allow your body time to recover and repair. Practice gratitude. Focus on what your body can do, rather than what it can't, and express gratitude for your abilities. Embrace the journey of aging. We'd love to hear from you. What's one small step you're taking today to improve your mobility and embrace a more active life? Share your experiences and inspire others in the comments below. Let's recap the 7 things you can do to maintain your mobility and live a fuller life, even if you're walking less. Explore chair-based exercises. Consider aquatic exercise. Embrace walking aids. Incorporate strength training. Stretch regularly. Focus on balance training. Listen to your body and pace yourself. We encourage you to take action today. Explore the resources we've listed in the description below. Talk to your doctor, a physical therapist, or other healthcare professionals. Connect with your local senior center or community center. Remember, you are not alone on this journey. There is support available, and there are many ways to stay active and engaged, no matter your age or abilities. Aging is a journey, not a destination. It's a time for adapting, for discovering new strengths, and for embracing new possibilities. Don't let limited walking limit your life. Take charge of your mobility, connect with your community, and keep moving forward with confidence and joy. You are capable of so much more than you think.